Welcome, everyone. It is Rant Friday on the Knowledge Boner podcast. For everyone that has been tuning in every Friday, me and my co-host Wally Wynn do topics that we like to rant on, things that's just been eating away at us. We like to go on little tangents. It's just something fun for us to do where we can just be real and be raw for you guys. So for those that are just now tuning in and brand new to our podcast, this is what we do every Friday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you. And that being said, Wally, we talked about this yesterday, but what's today's topic going to be for Rant Friday?
Today we're going to talk about the wannabes. I'm going to call you wannabes, and I kind of said this yesterday too, but we're going to talk about the people who are I'm going to call you guys like struggle porn likers. People that think entrepreneurship is hard. People think that it's a struggle. But then writhe in that. So that's the kind of where we're going to talk about that. And so to kick off really quickly, before we kind of get into that subject completely, let's talk about one thing. And today is episode 50, right? So this is actually halfway to our goal. I don't know if you guys knew that, but halfway to our goal of 100 episodes is actually today.
Wow.
Episode 50.
Yeah, look at the time. I remember on day one, 50 episodes ago, we first started, talking about our goal and being consistent and just implementing and taking action, which we mentioned action yesterday, when we talked about opportunity and luck. And, here we are, we're already halfway into episode 50. Time flew by. Whereas most people would be still procrastinating, wanting to make sure everything's perfect with their podcast. And don't be wrong, you guys listening, like, we're not perfect. We're still learning. We're still trying to improve. We don't have like fancy fucking studios and stuff set up right now, right? Me and Wally are sitting here on our cell phones, right? Zero excuses. But you know what? Years from now, when we do get to that, people will be able to listen back to this and know that, hey, these two awesome fucking entrepreneurs literally just started with their cell phone and we're able to get the podcast up to what it's now. So yeah, episode 50. That's awesome.
So boom, halfway. And it's appropriate that I guess I get to rant about some wannabe entrepreneurs. And to talk about one thing immediately, just think about this. There's so many people out there that just like wear the badge of entrepreneur, right? And there's and Gary Vee talked about this too. So there's so many people on there. It's cool right now to be an entrepreneur, quote unquote, right? And kind of to talk to one point to Dylan made the other day about sales, guys. If you're not making money, if there is no money, if there's no revenue being generated by your quote unquote business, you're not an entrepreneur yet. You're a wannabe, right? That's one. That's one.
I set up my business entity. I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I have entrepreneur on my Instagram, so that means I am 100%. Yeah. People pay me to write blurbs on my Instagram, -$1. Anyway, so. That's one thing. That's the first kind of person I want to talk about. And the next one I want to talk about is actually, from a direct experience, and Dylan will kind of attest to this too, but, we deal with a lot of people who take classes in order to teach them like the skills to become an entrepreneur, right? That's kind of the different courses that we did. We talked about before how we take, you're developing those high income skills. Well, that's what we talk about. That's what we mean is buying those courses and things that you think will help you develop those skills. So we do that. And in these, communities of people that we end up interacting with, it's really frustrating to deal with the people who are, and I'm going to call you wannabe entrepreneurs, right? People that, this is the first time you've decided that you want to be an entrepreneur, and this is the first time you started your journey. It's the first thing you ever tried doing in general. And one thing that really kind of sits with me is people that don't have results but try to give advice. Mm-hmm. You guys should just go ahead and I don't know. I'm not gonna say kill yourself because that's mean, but you're really doing a disservice to everybody around you instead of helping people, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do is help people. You're trying to be helpful, and I understand that, right? Completely. But think about this, right? If you take a course, like let's say it's for sales, right? And you haven't made 0 sales. What right do you have? Do you have any right at all to talk to somebody about how to make sales if you made 0 yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just think about that for a second, right? So there's so many, and that's basically what happens in a lot of these different classes. Like, there are things that are popular right now. It's like Facebook ad agencies, Shopify stores, bot agencies even, and all these, and even like, building like copywriting agencies for, doing emails, right? And all these different people are, they absorb all the information from the courses, but they don't take action on what they're doing. And so when you don't take action and then you try to give people advice, think about what you're doing to them. Like, this person's actually trying to seek and learn and apply the things that they're learning. And then you're telling them advice that you're not even 100% sure works because you never tested it. You don't have any proof that says, okay, like this works. So then think about what kind of effect you're having on that new person now. Now you could start a ripple effect. You could be like, okay, I'm going to give this person bad advice. Now this person's going to take my bad advice and say now, oh, nothing works. This strategy sucks. This course is bullshit, right? Then they're going to leave a bad review, and it's going to go and trickle on down to the next person. Boom, 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 boom. And you can kind of see the ripple effect there. But just think about the effect of you giving bad advice. Just like the opposite effect. If you give great advice and that helps that person who makes money, then they're going to tell other people. And just think about you building that social proof for yourself. What do you think, Dylan? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, no, you're absolutely right. And what it is just because the wannabes just want to be viewed. It's the ego. They just want to be viewed as an expert. Like, they know what they're talking about. And even though they're not having any results, right? They care more about their image. I talked about this too. I'm just going to come out and fucking say it. I don't even care if anyone listens in and hears this, but in the ClickFunnels community, we have there's a lot of people, there's a high tier if your funnel ever makes $1 million, it's called a 2 comma club. I see people do this all the fucking time. Like, you go in, you ask for advice, and 2 comma club winners have to come in and they have to be like, not really answer the question like very broadly. And then they have to be like, yeah, well, you could take it with what you are. Like, I'm the expert. Look at me. I'm 2 comma club. Like, it's all fucking ego. Like, even if you're at that point. And I never, like, I don't even respond to people. Like, stuff I know that I've done, like, I don't respond to people that way. And I think a lot of people, now mind you, 2 comma club winners, like, that's an accomplishment, right? I mean, they made $1 million in sales. Not that $1 million is really shit to brag about in today's economy, like $1 million's average, but it's still an accomplishment. But you have other wannabes and stuff that are stuck in that ego mode, and they really just want to be, they want their ego stroked. I mean, that's just what it is. They want to give advice, and they're not implementing shit. So, I mean, you don't want to fall into that trap. Even when you are successful, guys, you want to always not let your ego overcome you, and you want to be humble. And be humble enough to still ask for advice. Like, me and Wally, like, we're not afraid to ask for shit, like, in a heartbeat. Like, well, if we have a problem, we're very quick to, we'll go in a fucking group and we'll blast that. Like, hey guys, this is what we're ran into. How do we fix it? Like, I don't care if I'm making millions and I have a problem and I know someone out there could possibly help me. I will go out and ask for help, right? Like, I don't act like this wannabe, like, top level guy who still has all the answers. To give advice. I mean, think about Walton, right? The guy that created Walmart. The dude, while he was a billionaire, he was still over in another country on his hands and knees measuring out the aisle just to see if that country knew something that he didn't for the right measurement of an aisle. Like how humble do you have to be as a multi-billionaire to be able to do that? And they thought he was a creepy old man, so they arrested him. Like, literally, his vice president and his team had to come and bail him out of jail. So, that's a guy successful, built an empire called Walmart, and because he didn't let his ego, he wasn't a fucking wannabe. He didn't have all the answers, but he was still taking action and always willing to learn. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
Yep, I definitely agree. And so for you guys who are wannabes, or if you're salty or if I touched the nerve there, or if we touched the nerve at all, just realize that it's coming from a place of, people who have gotten a lot of bad information, right? People who've, been misled and told a lot of stuff and relearned things and had to go back and, thought one thing was right and then was told another way and then was trying to figure out, okay, which one's right? Like, we're exactly like that. We're exactly like you.
Yep.
Exactly like you, right? And so just so you know, like, we're like that comes from a place of, I know that happened to me, right? People try to be, people try to teach me stuff, that kind of things, but either I didn't research them correctly and I got bad advice, or I just took their advice at face value and I didn't do anything about it. at all, and it ended up, biting me in the ass, right?
I mean, I'm not even gonna call out names, but I see this all the time online. Like I see people who post and they pose themselves as a wannabe, acting like this expert, giving this advice, and then when me and Wally get a boom or we have success because we're actually taking fucking action, and we ask if anyone has any questions or if they want access to whether it's our ebook or anything, these people immediately message me and they're like, yes, like what are you doing? Like my strategy's not working and blah blah blah. And I'm literally thinking, I just saw you post. I just saw your post earlier today. Like you're making like you have no clients whatsoever. Like, but like you're giving all this advice. Like what the fuck? It just shows you, man, like how fake a lot of these people are, man. Like they're fucking fake. Like you should have seen I can't wait, Wally. I can't fucking wait. Like this lady, I picked up my girlfriend's kids from school. She had this Lexus SUV, and here I am in a piece of shit 2002 fucking Nissan Altima with a paint fading, which I'm probably gonna keep. I'm gonna run that bitch to the ground. I just can't wait a shit ton of money and like still drive that car around because like she looked at the car and just looked like you can tell she was just kind of like she was this Indian lady, just kind of like that judgmental look, like, oh, like I have a Lexus, it's broke ass, and I just can't get that ego. Like I just can't wait, dude. Like I'm gonna drive that shit around, and then just knowing in my head, like, bitch, I make 100 times more money than you make in a month.
But by the way, guys, if you didn't know this and you haven't like realized this for yourself yet, I'm just gonna give you guys a little gold nugget here. The people that have the most money, I will guarantee you 100% their bank account will astound you, but they will not look like they have that much money. They will look like they'll drive a very conservative car, right? They'll be dressed very modestly. They're not going to wear the bling, right? Some of them will. Don't get me wrong. There are very wealthy people who do, but I can tell you for 100% fact that the people that are dressed very modestly, you'd be surprised how much money they make on the back end. So don't discount people. Don't judge at looks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Grant Cardone talks about it all the time, right? Like, if somebody does have a nice car, guys, and they're leasing, like, leasing's a tax write-off, right? They don't buy. Like, so if you lease a nice vehicle and you're using it like for a purpose as an investment or for tax purposes, that's why they do it. So you can still have the nice car and you can still lease. That's different. So, but a lot of you guys see that and you're fucking hating on people like, oh, they're not wealthy, they're leasing. No, you fucking moron. They're smart. They're leasing for a reason. It's the same thing as investing in yourself. And Grant Cardone says, if anything you buy has to be like, there has to be some kind of reasoning behind the investment. And tax write-offs is an investment. That's why you do it. His jet is a tax write-off. And he gets to travel from point A to point B. A gift, a $580 pair of sunglasses that he got as a gift. The guy paid for it, but got to write it off because it was a gift. And now he's doing multi-million-dollar deals with Grant Cardone from that one gift. So would you say it was worth the $580? Fuck yeah, it was. But Grant says he would never spend $580 on himself for those glasses. He can absolutely afford it. But that's how they think, guys. Like, that's what you got to understand is, and it's interesting. I talked all this week about the interview with Ryan Serhant, and the interview with Ryan Serhant. It was interesting with him being a broker. Most people, even Grant says, never buy your own house. You rent it. But and he said that him and his wife bought an $8 million home, which was even a stretch for him, and did it on purpose. Like he wanted kind of that uncomfortableness because he used it as a driving factor. So his logical reasoning behind doing that was he knew that, hey, if I stretch this and get this amazing house and after renovation it's going to cost me $10 million, it's going to motivate him and drive him and push him to keep increasing his brokerage business. So he actually did it as a motivating factor of on purpose, right? So if you have that kind of personality, there are different ways that you can view, your reasoning behind investing into things and what you spend your money on. So everybody's different. So you just gotta be smart about it. And you don't want to, you don't want to be a wannabe. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. So biggest takeaway for me is if you're taking action, if you have results, if you've traded money for value, right? If you've been able to get somebody to pay you for whatever it is that you do, then you're no longer a poser to me. You're on your way, But if you haven't yet, then shut up.
Yeah, but yeah, shut up. Shut it. That's funny. Yeah, well put. I mean, that's exactly right. So, guys, just don't let your ego control you. Like it's not important. Like you don't need to care what other people think. And be humble and ask for advice if you need advice. Like that's the best advice that I can actually give you. And if you take that to heart, like things are gonna be so much better and so much easier. And I know it's Friday. So, thank you all, as always, so much for actually spending the time on a Friday, your valuable weekend, to get this knowledge in, to dedicate your time to our podcast. We do appreciate it. That's, I'm not even sure how far into this call we are right now, but, was it 20 minutes? We say 20 minutes. Yeah, it's 20 minutes you're never going to get back. So we appreciate you using that time and tuning in. And hope you have a wonderful weekend. Make sure that you plan your next week. And we hope that everyone takes action towards something entrepreneurial. That's what it's all about.
And we are halfway, bitches. Sorry, I had to do it.
Halfway there, guys. Episode freaking 50. So next week we start 51. We're down on the path and on pace to hit our goal of 100 episodes by January 18th. So, man, January 18th is going to be a big day. So here we are, halfway there. Guys, if we can do it and we can stay consistent, you can do it. You can stay consistent. So just apply consistency, man, and you're going to win. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday.